First, we will try to understand the concept here. I have a account object. In the account object, I have a save button. Let us take save button. Click on new. CSC. Click on save. When you are saving this record, it is straight away saving the record. My requirement is when I click on the save, it has to verify are there any duplicate records available in the table with the same name. If duplicate record is available, throw error message. If there is no duplicate record available, then save the record. If duplicate record is there, throw error message. This is my requirement. But what is happening here? When I click on save, record is directly getting saved. That is not my requirement. When I click on save, it has to verify are there any duplicate records with the same name. When there are duplicate records, throw error message. That is my requirement. So what I want, whatever the standard save functionality is there, that should be replaced with my custom logic. Whatever the standard save functionality is there, that should be replaced with my custom logic. Whatever the standard functionality is there, it is not meeting my requirement. Whatever the standard functionality is there, that is not meeting my requirement, I was supposed to redefine that standard functionality. Then how will you redefine it? Now, on this record, I need to have a button here. I want to create my own button here. When I click on that button, it has to send an email to the corresponding contact, update your contact details. What was that? If you want to design your own buttons on the standard pages, if you want to replace any one of the existing functionalities, how will you perform? There is a concept here. Now, what is your requirement? Standard pages are there, which you want to replace with your own custom logic. Standard pages are there, standard buttons are there, standard links are there, which we want to replace with our own custom logic. Now the question here is, whatever the development activities we have done till now, either we have used standard controller or a controller. Look at the point. VF page. Account new page. Standard controller equal to. Now, I created a VF page with a standard controller equal to account. Then go back here. Setup. Build. Customize. Accounts. What we are doing? Buttons and. Now, you want to replace new button. Click on edit. Replace with our Visualforce page. Now, we have created so many pages, right? When you have created so many pages, why we are getting only these pages? Right? If you want to create any new button on account object, only those VF pages in which standard control equal to account, only those pages can be used here. If I want to modify any one of the standard button, I can modify with only those Visualforce pages whose standard control equal to account. So if you want to modify the button on the account, VF page should use standard control equal to account. If I want to create my own button on the account, VF page should use standard control equal to account. Is that was clear? So it is a must that I have to use standard controller. But the problem here is, if I use a standard controller, I can only refer to what? Standard functionalities. If I use a standard controller, I can only use standard functionalities. Let me give you. Then I'm taking fix. Page block buttons. Value equal to zero. Action equal to zero. These are standard functionalities. Then I have account.name. This is what I give. Now what I want to do, whatever the standard new button is there, replace that standard button with this page. Whatever the standard new button is there, replace that button with this code. Replace that button with this code. How can you replace? Buttons. Let me give. Account, buttons, new, Visualforce page, account new page. Go back to the account, new. What happened? When I clicked on new, instead of standard page, my custom page came. If you want to override any one of the standard buttons, why are you overriding standard buttons? Whatever the existing functionality is there, it is not according to my requirement. I want to replace with my logic. Then I want to override the standard button. When you want to override any one of the standard button, object on which you are overriding, object on which you are overriding, that object should be used as standard controller in the corresponding object. Now my requirement I told CSC. When I save, record should not be saved. Record should not be saved. It has to verify are there any duplicate records, then it has to save. But whenever I use standard controller, I cannot use controller. Am I right or wrong? Either I can give standard controller or I can give controller. Both of them I cannot use. But if you want to use the page, to replace any one of the standard functionality, standard controller is a must. But if you want to build your own logic, Apex class is a must. But you cannot define standard controller and controller together. Then we have a concept called extension. What is extension? We are trying to extend standard properties with this corresponding class. So if you want to use standard controller and controller together, standard controller extends extensions Apex class. Standard controller extends Apex class. But the point here is, if you want to define any Apex class as an extension, if you want to define any Apex class as an extension, look at this, I gave it. When I save it, it throws error message. Look at the error. Unknown account new controller, constructor is not defined. Why? If you want any Apex class to be used as an extension, that Apex class should have constructor with a parameter. Generally, if you want to use any Apex class within the VF page, no parameters in the constructor. Am I right? But here, if you want to define any Apex class as an extension, if you want to define any Apex class as an extension, if you want to define any Apex class as an extension, we need to have one parameter here. Apex pages dot standard controller. Apex pages dot standard controller. Why? Why? I am extending that concept. Whatever the standard controller is there, that concepts are extended by class. First, whichever the record you are referring, first get that record. On that record, we are implementing the custom logic. When I say Apex pages dot standard controller, whatever the record we are referring here, that record is transferred here as a parameter. In the VF page, whichever the record we are referring, that record is passed as a parameter to the Apex class. So, any Apex class which you want to use as an extension, any Apex class which you want to use as an extension, that Apex class should have constructor with a parameter. What is that parameter? Apex pages dot standard controller. If you want to use any Apex class as an extension, that Apex class should have constructor with a parameter. What is that parameter? Apex pages dot standard controller. What is this Apex pages dot standard controller? It will refer to one record. Apex pages dot standard controller will refer to one record. Which record? Whatever the record we are using in the VF, the same record is referred in the Apex pages dot standard controller. I hope you got my point. Again, I repeat. Any Apex class which you want to use as an extension, any Apex class which you want to use as an extension, any Apex class which you want to use as an extension, that class should have constructor with parameter. What is that parameter? Apex pages dot standard controller. What is that Apex pages dot standard controller? It will refer to one record. Apex pages dot standard controller will refer to one record. It will refer to one record. I hope you are good with this. Now, whatever the record we are referring, how do you get it? ACC equal to controller dot get record. Whichever the record you are referring, get that record. But the problem is, always will you use standard control equal to account? Sometime I take contact, sometime I take opportunity. So we are not sure what is the standard controller. When you are not sure, that is the reason it is saving the data like a subject. It is saving the data like a subject. So if you want to use this, what should you do? Convert the S object into. Now, why standard controller is going to accept S object? Why S object? Because I am not sure which record you are going to pass. you are going to pass account or a contact or opportunity, I am not sure. Because you are not sure which object you are referring, because you are not sure which object you are referring, I have taken as S object. I have taken as S object. Because I am not sure which object you are taking, so I was taking as S object. If you want to use that S object, we have to convert the S object in the form of corresponding object. Okay. Then go back here. Public void page reference count equal to select count from name equal to account. Then if count is greater than 0, there are duplicate records. Severity. No duplicate record found inside ACC. P equal to new page. What am I saying? Boss, if duplicate record is found, throw error message. If there is no duplicate record found, then save the record, go back to the. This is how I overridden. Now what was that? Whatever the record we are entering, that record is coming here. Then I told controller dot get record. So what is the record we entered there? ACC. Whatever the record we are entering there, that is captured in the form of ACC. Now I told with ACC dot name, if there is any duplicate record, throw error message. No duplicate record, save the record and take to the page reference. Right. So how do you print error message here? Apex page messages. Go back here. New, already CSC is there, right? It is showing duplicate, right? So what is that? When you click on the tab, when you click on new, my custom page should open. When you click on new, my custom page should open. When I click on save, it has to verify whether duplicate record is there or not. If duplicate record is there, throw error message. This is my business requirement. But the existing functionality is not like this. When existing functionality is not meeting your requirement, we are trying to replace with our custom functionality. When you want to replace the button on any one of the object on which you want to replace, that object should be defined as standard controller. If you define a standard controller, we cannot write a Apex class in the page. Then standard controller extensions custom logic. Any Apex class you want to use as a extension, the class should have constructor with a parameter. What is the parameter? Apex pages dot standard controller. Now the standard controller will refer to one record. Which record? Depends upon which record you pass. Then get that record, try to perform the operation. Now look at the code. If you have any corrections on this, let me know. Look at the code. Any queries from your end, let me know.
Satish, can you explain about Apex page dot standard controller one more time?
whatever the record we are referring here, the VF page, that record will come here as Apex Pages.standard controller. Now, from page, account may come, contact may come, opportunity may come. That is the reason it is taking S object. So, before we use, convert into original format and take it. So, Apex Pages.standard controller will refer to what? One single record. Which record? Whatever we are using in the VF page, that record is coming here. Is that was clear, ma? Right. Now, look at the code. Anybody has any difficulty in this code? Let me know. Anybody has any difficulty in this code? Because I give no, I went to buttons and told replace the button with my page. Setup, build, customize, accounts, buttons. These are the existing buttons. Edit. I told open the Visual Force. I hope everyone is good. Everyone is good with this? Okay. Now, let us take the next format. This I replaced the existing button. Already new button is there. I replaced the functionality with my custom logic. Now, my next requirement is I want to add my own button. I want to add my own button. So, what was that? Look at this. Trying to create my own button. My requirement is there is a button called Stay in Touch or Update Details. When I click on that button, go and get the corresponding contacts, send an email to the contacts that boss, update your contact data. This is the current data what we have. If there is any change, update the data. I want to send them an email. I want to send them an email and tell boss if there are any modifications on your contact data, update it. This is my requirement. Now, where you want to create this button? On the account object I want to create. Are you trying to replace a button or trying to create a button? I want to create a button. Look at this. Try to understand the point. Public account. Now, tell me what we are supposed to do. Public standard controller, Apex Pages.standard controller. Get the record. Now, if you are creating a new button, only the record ID will come here. If you are creating a new button, which data will come? Only record ID will come. Along with the record ID, if you want any other fields, when you say new button, only record ID will come. Along with the record ID, if you want any other fields, what do we need to do? Then we give controller dot add fields. Controller dot add fields. Apart from ID of the record, if you want any other data, we need to say controller dot add fields. Controller dot add fields. Then let us take the next one. Now I have public. Get the corresponding contacts also. Public list of select ID. Wait. account ID. We read this. Contacts validity. Public void when I click on this, I want to send emails. How do you send an email? Messaging dot. No, it is not a single email because every contact should get their data. Every contact should get their own data. Contact C contacts. Messaging dot single email. Then string to address. What is to address? C dot. Then we're giving string C dot. Update I'm giving body equal to body plus email this is how we got it. Now setting the mail message dot set subject update contact set body subject body message dot set two addresses. Then we are giving emails dot add. What I'm doing, I took one by one contact, then I was creating a body, send the email to the corresponding contact, set the corresponding to address, set the body, set the to address. Then I told messaging dot messaging dot send email. Then I'm giving page reference p equal to this is what I get. Did the people follow this point? Now first look at line number 10 to 25. If you have any query, let me know. First we'll clarify this part. What I was doing, whatever the contacts you fetched in the above, one by one contact I taken. For every contact I created an email. For every contact I created an email, then I was sending. After sending an email, what I was doing? Page reference account ID. So what happens? This will go to account record. This will go to account record. Okay. Is that was clear? Okay. Followed? Right. Now, line number 5 to 8. What did I do in this case? Right. whichever the record you are referring, only that record ID will come. If you want any other fields apart from ID, add those fields to the controller. Controller.add field. Then told get the record with the following data. Then we got the corresponding account record. Then for that account, whatever the contacts we have, we fetched it. Is that was clear for everyone? People followed? People followed? Clear? So here, ID of the record. If you want any other fields other than ID, we need to add those fields too. Then get the contacts of those accounts. Get the contacts of those accounts, those account. Is referred as. I hope you got my point. Okay. So let us go to the next part. Create a VF page. How you define? Standard control equal to account. Why? We are creating this button on account. Then extension equal to contact update control. Now I am giving here output text value equal to whichever the account I am taking. Some data I gave here. Then we have page block table value equal to now there may be a contact, may not be a contact. I cannot guarantee. Every account may have a contact, may not have a contact. First I want to see contacts are there or not. Now look at the page. If you are finding anything new on the page, let me know. Now I am displaying list of contacts. Using a page block table, I am displaying a list of contacts. Then I am giving here, boss, render this only if contacts dot size. If there are any contacts, then only show the page block table. Every account may have a contact, may not have a contact. This is how I keep. Now cross check. Cross check. What I was trying to do here, I created a page block table, page block with one button, and account data will be displayed. At the bottom, we are going to get corresponding contact data. Account data with the corresponding contact data. There is no guarantee that every account will have contacts. I cannot guarantee that. Can you guarantee that every account will have a contact? No. So go back to the setup. Build. Customize. Accounts. Buttons. New button. Contact update. Now you want to create a button or link. Where button on the detail page or list view page? Detail page. You want to open a new button, new window or same window? You want to open a new window or same window? I told new window. What you want to open? I create a new button. When you click on the button, new page will open. In that, the corresponding Visual Force page is opening. What was this? Contact. So when you click on this button, new page will open with this. I hope you are good with this. Okay. Now this is the button what I created. Now what you are supposed to do? Go to the detail page. Does it have any contact? No contact. Edit layout. Whatever the new button we have created, we are trying to add it. Custom buttons. Contact update. This is how we got here. Contact update. We are adding our own custom functionality on standard pages. When you click on this, new window opened with account data. There are no contacts here. There is no contact, so it is open. Okay. Here, I want to give. So, show header equal to. Then go to this. This is the account we have. For the account, new contact. We had a contacts. So go to the account. Now it has a group of contacts. Contact update. What was that? Phone number I have not given here. Go back again. Contact update. These are the account data. These are the list of corresponding. Then it will send email. Then it will send email. Come back to the. Is that was clear? Now I don't want to open a new window. Same window I want to open. There also can do. Right now what I told? Open in a new window. No, I don't want to open in a new window. I want to open the same page. Contact update. Open in the existing window. So when I go with this, contact update, got it, boss. I hope you are good with this. Okay. Now go back and see. We received some mails. Contact update. So this is how we are merging the concept of email. From where are you going to execute the email? Previously, from the developer console only, I wrote an object creation, called it. But practically, where we use this email? One such example here. I created my own custom button. When you click on the button, get the corresponding contacts, send an email to the contact. Now, while executing, what we have done, whatever the examples, what we have done, we went to VF page, clicked on preview, we saw the output. This is how we have seen the output of all the previous programs. But practically, this is not the way, right? We are supposed to call that functionality by clicking a button or by clicking a link. To achieve that, one of the examples is this extension. You design a page, create a tab for the page. You design a page, create a button for the page and add it to the standard pages. I hope you are good with this. People have followed. So what is the concept of extension? What is the concept? If you want to use standard controller and a custom controller together, it is not possible. Then what we do? Define the standard controller and whatever the custom logic you want to write, define that custom logic as extension. If you want to define any Apex class as an extension, it is a must that Apex class should have constructor with Apex pages dot standard controller as a parameter. If you are taking Apex pages dot standard controller, what does it refer to? Apex pages dot standard controller will refer to any one of the record. Now, what is the format of data they are taking? What is the type of record we are taking? What is the type of record we are taking? What is the type of record we are taking? It's S object. It is S object. When you are taking S object, we need to convert back into original format. Now there are two things. One is replacing the existing functionality. Second one is creating new functionality. If you are creating a new button, only ID of the record from where you click the button. From where are you clicking this button? Only that record ID will be passed. Apart from the record ID, if you want any other data, we need to add those fields. Suppose if you are trying to replace, then entire record will come. If you are replacing, entire record data will come. If you are trying to replace, the record data will come. Generally, whenever we are trying to add a button on the detail page, only ID of the record will come. Then along with the ID, if you want any other fields, fetch it. I hope you got the basic information. Clear? Am I clear with this? Okay. Now, standard controller is referring to what? Single record. Now, using a standard controller, what I was doing? I was creating button on any one of the detail page. What if you want to create button on list view page? Here I want to create a button. I want to select the records. Click on the button, delete them. Select the records. Click on the button, update. Modify the owner as student. So what you want to do? If you want to work with a group of records, how will you work? If it is a single record, you are taking a standard. If it is a single record, you are taking a standard controller. If it is a group of records which you want to refer, how do you achieve it? Then we have Apex pages dot standard set controller. Standard controller will refer to single record. Standard set controller will refer to group of record. Are you getting my point? Okay. Listen to the basic funda. How did you get this list of records? Because of this filter. Based on this filter, we get a records. On the records, we want to perform operation. What is this filter called? record set var. Record set var. Based on the option what is selected, we are getting a group of records. Based on these records, we want to perform update, delete, or whatever the operation you want. Now, let me try to achieve this functionality. I hope everybody followed this concept. Anyone who is finding difficulty in this concept? This is very frequently used functionality. I told you already. From now, whatever we are doing, this is what actually we do. Rest all the things are to support this. Everyone is good with this example? Good with this? Clear for everyone? Yes or no? No. Mass delete. If it is a standard controller, we are getting a single record. If it is a standard set controller, group of record. Standard controller will give you one record. Standard set controller will give you group of records. In the constructor, what is the in the standard set controller, we are going to get a group of record. So, if you want to use any Apex class as an extension, either it has to use Apex pages dot standard set controller or Apex pages dot standard controller. If you want to use any Apex class as a extension, then the class has to use Apex pages dot standard controller or Apex pages dot standard set controller as a parameter in the constructor. Now I told you already, only ID will come. If you want anything other than ID, now we are trying to take the records. Accounts. Controller dot get. Whichever the records I selected, I want to get it. Before I get the records only, I was supposed to add fields. Get the list of selected records. Get the list of selected records. Controller dot add fields. Controller dot add fields. Get the list of records. What are the records we are getting? Then I am giving public page reference then I am giving page reference. Now I want to say, if any record deletion failed, don't worry, only cancel that, delete the remaining records. That is my requirement. Okay. When you want to write, according to my requirement, if any one of the record fail, only that record should fail, rest of them should be successfully deleted. (001) means what? Account. So, look at the logic what I wrote. Line number 4 to line number 6. Any query you have, let me know. Line number 4 to line number 6. What did I do? Apart from ID, if you want any other fields, create those fields like a array, add them to the controller. Then I told get the records. Now, am I getting all the records or only selected records? Whichever the records I am selecting, only those records I want. So I told get selected. Now, why did I take list of account? Standard set controller will refer to group of record. Standard controller will refer to one record. Standard set controller will refer to group of record. Is that was clear? Okay. Then I hope everybody is good. In the line number 9 to line number 11, what is the operation we are doing? Whichever the records you have selected, those records I was deleting, going back to the home page of account. Going back to the home page of account. Then go to the VF page. Standard controller. Extensions. Mass delete controller. Here we need to give records at var. Why? The list of records are coming based on filter. Based on the filter, records are coming. Out of those records, whichever you have selected. Not from all the records of table. Based on the filter, we are getting a group of records. Out of those group of records, whichever the record we are selecting, those records we are getting. So I gave page block. Command button. Delete. Action. Then what we are supposed to do? I just want to display list of records. A dot. What is the other operation we are doing? Name. Right. This is how we create it. So what we are supposed to do? Setup. Build. Customize. Accounts. Buttons and links. New button. Now, where you want to create on the list or detail on a particular record or list view. List. Now you want to show the checkboxes? Yes. Now display in the existing window or new window. I told display in the existing window. Content source. Then I have mask. Button is created. How do you add this button? Go to account. We are finding here search layout. Do you remember the concept of search layout? When you click on the tab, what should be displayed? When you use in the master detail, go to the search layout, scroll down. What are you finding here? Account list. Master. In the account list view, then go back to the account. This is how we got the data. In this, I am selecting some records. I selected some records. Based on this filter, we got the records. In this we selected. What we are getting here? Then whatever the records I selected, it is showing. These are the records which are selected. I told records are deleted. Right? Records are deleted and we are coming back to the home page. Is that was clear? Now here we are going to select more than one record. There is a reason. It should be what? Standard set controller. Now tell me the difference between standard controller and standard set controller. Standard controller will refer to single record. Standard set controller will refer to group of records. I hope you are good. Standard controller will refer to single record. Standard set controller will refer to group of records from list view. Okay. Then standard controller is used to create a button on detail page. Standard set controller is used to create a button on list view page. I hope you are good. Right. Now look at this example. Let us try to write one logic here. I want you to create one class which will collect all the account data which you selected. Whichever the account records we have selected, get that data, update the owner as Wilson. Update the owner as Wilson, navigate to the home page. Navigate to the home page. Start writing the code for this. Create a extension class. Create a extension class which will take all the account records which are selected. Create a extension class. Create a extension class which will take all the account records which are selected and update owner as Wilson. And update owner as Wilson. Update the owner as Wilson. Update the owner as Wilson. Update the owner as Wilson. Look at the reference code. Refer to this code, whatever the code I wrote, get the list of accounts which are selected. Get the list of accounts which are selected. Public staff. Then what we are supposed to do? Apex page dot standard now. What we are supposed to do? What are the fields you want to do? Then I ask you to get controller. Controller dot get. Then I ask you to update the data. Page reference. Then we are going with user u id from user where alias equal. Now in your case I told you to write Wilson. In your case I asked you to write Wilson. A dot owner id equal to update. Then I ask you to navigate page reference. I hope you are good with this. People have followed this. Now for this corresponding VF page you have to write. For this you are supposed to write corresponding VF page. In the VF page what we are supposed to give? Standard controller with the extension. Standard controller with the extension. Start creating the VF page. Start creating the VF page. I hope everybody has followed this. Create a VF page. In the VF page what we are supposed to do? Standard controller and extension and also record set var. Because it is a list view button, we are supposed to create record set var. This is very important. Generally we forget to write this, get error messages. I hope everybody has followed the concept. Right. Still, this is enhanced concept is there where we can go with paginations and all this stuff. We'll see it in the next session. But once again, what is the purpose of this extension? Still, this is not completed. This extension class is there. We need to understand about the pagination and other methods which are there in the standard controller, standard set controller. What are the other methods we have, and how many extensions we can give. This come associated technical topics are there. We'll see that in the Monday class. Okay. Now, basic concept is clear for everyone. Right? What is the purpose of this? We are trying to create some new functionalities on standard pages, or we are trying to replace some of the standard functionalities. To do this, we are going for a concept of extension. If you want to replace some of the standard functionalities, or you want to build some custom functionalities on standard pages, we are going for extension. Now, when you go for extension, we have a concept of standard controller or controller. Either I can define standard controller or I can define controller. I cannot use both of them. If you want to use both of them, then I was supposed to go with standard controller equal to SObject and extension equal to Apex class. Any Apex class which you want to use as an extension, any Apex class which you want to use as an extension, that Apex class should have Apex pages dot standard controller or Apex pages dot standard set controller as a parameter. Now, if you take standard set controller, list of records what we selected we can fetch. Standard controller, record from where I am clicking the button, that record will come. Then add the fields, perform the logic. I hope you are good with this. Clear for everyone? Basic syntax is clear? Clear for everyone? We'll continue in the next session. That's all from my end.